Just to keep the awareness up for both of you, I sent you that screenshot of that one of one Bo Nickel autograph that was pulled.
Yeah.
Put it on eBay for 99 cents, which of course was to get bids on it, get traffic going to it. It currently stands at just over 14,000.
And this is a card you're selling?
Oh, hell no. I wish it
Oh, I was
was.
gonna say I don't think I understood that part.
Yeah, the budget for the show would go way fucking up if if that happened, but just wanted to give you guys that heads up 'cause it's pretty cool. Yeah.
And you were saying the record for rookie one of one is McGregor at like 70K. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, there's like
That that
yeah.
makes sense to me.
Yeah, it went pretty high up there. There's some crazy records. I'm gonna try and get one of the card guys to come on the show, come talk, chat about the trade, see what's up. A lot of them do different sports too, so be pretty cool. So, Wild Zone, you hear that, Jonathan? You listening? If you are, come on the show. We'd love to talk to you. Same for you, Brett and Ethan. You guys are good guys. We'll have fun. We'd enjoy it.
It's time for the Pretty Neat Podcast. It's time for the Pretty Neat Podcast.
Well, I love that.
Copyright be damned.
We kept all the clips short enough. I'm sure that nobody will complain. And if they do, then whatever.
Frankly, if
Shit.
you have enough time on your hands to complain about that, we'll take it down.
Yeah, we'll give it consideration.
Exactly. Well, welcome to the show, everyone. Welcome to the fellowship. I'm one of your three hosts. My name is Aaron. And from
I'm
there,
2 of 3 hosts. Number 2 of 3 hosts. Should I specify?
Which one is number 2?
Who does number 2 work for?
Who does number 2 work for?
Yeah, you can call me Ryan.
we'll give that a deep cut.
I'm Dom, and Phil Hawes will not be joining us tonight.
Yeah,
No.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
He's been unresponsive thus far.
However, Where's Waldo Cortez Acosta has not said no, if that makes sense. He didn't say
He also
yes,
he also
but
hasn't said yes.
said no.
Key term. In case you're wondering how we're communicating with these folks, it's on our Instagram. Go follow it at the Pretty Neat Podcast, and go to the website as well. The website is theprettyneatpodcast.com. Punch that mailbag if you want to send your questions, your memes, your comments, or anything else that's on your mind. We want to hear it. We want to share it. So yeah, let us know what's going on in your world and your thoughts on the show. But happy belated New Year's, my guys. I missed you.
We're already 9 days in.
Right?
Do either of you do anything to celebrate New Year's?
No. Oh, actually, I should say yes, I do actually.
Oh.
So going back as far as I remember when I was growing up, we'd all congregate at my grandparents' house on my mom's side because my dad's grandparents live in Kansas. Fun fact.
Topeka?
And we would have Dodge City, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Dodge City of Wyatt Earp fame, which if you guys haven't seen the movie Tombstone, it's a must-see. And there are many, many one-liners within that movie that will make you question whether or not the screenwriters were on some type of recreational substance. In fact, Wyatt Earp at one point says, "Go ahead, skin that smoke wagon and see what happens."
Oh my God.
I mean, just take that as what you will. And we got a little bit sidetracked here, but
is this the Huckleberry?
Yes,
movie?
the one with
Like Kurt Russell's in it. I want
Kurt
Val
Kurt
Kilmer.
Russell, Val
Val
Kilmer.
Kilmer.
It's got the Dodge Ram guy,
Bill Paxton.
Bill
Oh, shit,
Paxton.
he is in
Sam
that.
Elliott's in there.
Yeah, the Dodge Ram guy.
Yeah, Bill Paxton, of course, known for Aliens and Apollo 13.
Yes. More notably Aliens, at least for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But anyway, we sidetracked for a moment, but it was well worth it. We have a good luck dinner.
Oh, that's right.
You know what? I think you've told us about this.
You
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, we have a good luck dinner, and
You eat peas, right? Or some
black-eyed peas.
Yes.
There are food groups that represent health, wealth, and happiness or prosperity. And it's very interesting because part of this is a Southern custom, which is where the black-eyed peas come from. But you also eat sauerkraut, which I assume represents the health because it's fermented food, which is loaded with probiotics. It's good for gut health. And then notably, we also do a pork roast. And then for the wealth portion of it is the spinach salad. So growing up, I'm not sure if you guys have an affinity for sauerkraut. It's definitely an acquired taste and one that I've actually
love it.
acquired as I've gotten into adulthood. And what I did when I was growing up is I would just hide all the sauerkraut in the mashed potatoes, and then you do one of these numbers where you pinch your nose and then just swallow it down, because you had to eat at least a biteful of every one of the food groups to get the full effect. At least that's what my grandma told me. And still to this day, my wife, God love her, one of the pickiest eaters I know. It's the very smallest, tiniest portion of sauerkraut that gets onto the plate and is then just eaten, and then on to bigger and better things, which in her case, and in many cases, would be the mashed potatoes.
Well,
so there you have it. Yeah, good luck dinner. And then January, Dom and I have done the dry January for some time. Last year, notably, I was having surgery, so I really couldn't drink. So it was like a voluntary, involuntary dry January. And now, Dom, I haven't asked, are you still going strong? Did you resist the urge for that cheat meal over the weekend?
I did.
Okay, good.
Good for you.
Good.
Yep, I am at the end of today. Today is day 16 or 17. Day 16. So
fantastic.
Good work.
How about you?
So I'm going strong. Today is day 8. I officially started January 2nd, even though I stopped. I started dry January on the 1st, but like the food itself wasn't necessarily like conforming to a specific diet on New Year's Day. So I'm on day 8, going strong, feeling really good. First big test is tomorrow because I'm going to Disneyland. And Disneyland for me is just like that's your fun place. And when you think of fun, you think of all the things that you can do as an adult over 21, and all of the delectable items that you can eat as well. And Ashley's already telling me about all the things that they have that are that are ongoing. I believe a new food festival is starting tomorrow, and I'm going to be drinking water and only eating things that will fit within my caloric restrictions.
You could have diet soda.
Yeah, no, not that I would be against it, so to speak. I'm not a big soda person in general.
Yeah, you never have been.
I mean, when I was drinking soda, it was all about Dr. Pepper. I was a Dr. Pepper guy through and through, but I kicked that habit. I'm pretty good about kicking a habit and staying kicked. Smoking, Dr. Pepper, soda,
Crack,
definitely kicked that one a long time ago.
Still struggling with the meth though.
Meth is tough.
Well, one vice at a time, as they say.
How about you, Dom? New Year's Eve?
No, nothing. I started the 75 hard challenge that we're referring to on Christmas Day. And that was a choice I made because I have Laker tickets courtesy of my brother that he got for my birthday. I might have told you guys about that on March 10th. which was
Mm.
70, which is day 76.
So
from
you
Christmas
Day.
planned around it.
So
You know what?
I planned around it.
That is so wise of you, and it kind of fits within your personality as well.
Mhm.
To be like, okay, Lakers tickets, definitely want to have a good time. So when do I have to start this so that I can complete it, knowing that I will
Mhm.
not fail, so that I can
Yeah.
then have fun. So here's the thing: I have a similar quandary, of which I didn't get the advance notice to plan accordingly, but my sister, she's having her first child,
Nice.
and
Oh, congrats.
stoked, and found out it's going to be a girl, so I'm going to be a girl uncle. Pretty
Welcome to
excited
the
about
club.
that.
Welcome to the
Welcome to the
club.
club.
I fucking
Uh,
love having my nieces, man. It's the best.
Yeah. And my sister said, "Oh, by the way, she's so practical. She just sends me a Google Calendar invite for like baby shower invitation. She's like, here you go." And I'm like, perfect, right? And it's March 9th, I believe. And that is 9 days before my 75-day challenge will have concluded.
Oh,
Okay.
So the thing is, they're getting a taco truck, and I told my brother-in-law, if you're having your friends come over to a baby shower, your guy friends, you probably should get like a pony keg or something, because otherwise, what are they going to do?
mhm.
But I won't be able to partake in any of that.
You're
So,
gonna stay strong.
oh yeah,
I like
once
it.
I decide I'm going to do something,
Yeah.
it's getting done.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. My first real challenge, we're going to Disneyland on Monday. I'm not too worried about that. Um,
I feel like you go often enough that like it's not a special occasion every time, like it
No,
would
yeah,
be for
no.
me because I'd be traveling.
Not even a little bit. And I don't tend to drink all that much when I'm there. I've decided I'm just gonna eat a turkey leg, which is pretty much within my dietary restrictions at that point. And I mean, not I shouldn't say pretty much. It's like more calories than you should eat, but it falls within the guidance of what I'm trying to do. And then I got to figure out how I'm going to handle the workouts. What's your
Yeah,
plan for
that's the
that?
challenge. So I'm going to do the same thing tomorrow. I'm going to get up early and
Yeah.
bang one out.
Yep.
Workout, that is. Just got
Mhm.
to specify. Gonna bang one out. And depending depending on how the day goes, I'm still undecided on what the evening challenge is going to be,
So I'm
unless
gonna I'll say it for you. I think you could count the walking
around. You think so?
for
I-
one of them. I do.
Yeah, you can get a couple
So
miles in at Disney.
there's like different camps of people that are participating in the 75 hard challenge
Yeah.
that are just nitpicking is probably not the right term, but just like nitpicking the shit out of what the rules are. I saw somebody say that, oh, you put additional electrolytes in your water, you failed for your gallon of water challenge.
So
Like, that's such bullshit.
the guy who started it though, Andy Frizella, free shout out.
Yep.
He says no flavored water. It's on his website, and I'm using his app that I randomly bought the app for like it was on sale for like 99 cents a couple years ago. I didn't even know what it was, and I've had it since. So I've been using that to track it. So he says no flavorings in your water. I don't interpret that as no electrolytes. You'd be really hard, like sugar-free ones especially. You'd be really hard pressed to find. Did you both freeze? Did I lose you? No.
No, we're
No,
still
you're
Oh
here.
no, you're there. You'd be really hard pressed to find anyone who says electrolytes aren't good for you. And with that amount of exertion, I completely disagree. Now, if you're spraying like you get those little like squeezy guys that'll push the sugary liquid into your water, to me that's different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. And in this instance, it was like it's unflavored electrolytes, which is only beneficial, especially if you're going hard and then like losing a lot of fluids
Yeah.
during your workouts.
Gallon of water is a gallon of water, buddy.
Have you
Yes.
ever heard of Air Up?
Yes, I've seen the
Yeah.
commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like the flavored pods, right?
Yeah,
That use
yeah.
scent to fool your brain into thinking the water's flavored.
And see, I feel like that counts too. You're getting the water, and I do a pretty good job getting just about a gallon every day, 75 hard or not. Um, the other thing I disagree with some of the people on is we were just talking about it. Like I don't count coffee or soda as part of the water intake. If I have either of those things, it's separate from the water.
Sure.
Same. Like I'll drink coffee, but
Mhm.
I'm been really diligent about scheduled water intake to like just measure or be consistent throughout the day.
Yeah,
We
me
have
too.
we
Me
have
too.
like these water machines at work that are I mean they dispense a lot of different flavors, of course. You kind of just tap the screen and pick what flavor you want, but they also have all of these vitamin selections you can do too to add to the
Oh,
water,
okay.
which is pretty dope.
That is cool.
Where do you land on sparkling water?
Well, I'm drinking one right now, but I've already
Yeah.
had my gallon of water, but I
Okay.
don't consider that to be flavored. But
But I
in any case, I'm not adding it in.
no, I think sparkling water counts though
Hmm.
as part of your not sugared, but like the like a liquid death, like a
Like a
sparkling
liquid
liquid death,
death.
I think
Yeah.
would be fine. The other one I've been drinking is Sierra Nevada makes Hop Splash, free shout out, which is a sparkling water that they make with hops. So
Hmm.
it's no calorie, no sugar, nothing. It's literally purified water, carbonation, and some hops. So I've been enjoying that too.
Nice.
Nice.
My
Cool.
real challenge will be next weekend when UFC 297 is
Ugh.
on. My wife and kids will be in Arizona for my brother and sister-in-law's baby shower. I have to work, so I'm not going. And some of my very favorite things to do on a Saturday night when I have the house to myself is get all of the pizza
Yep.
and all of the wings and eat all of it and drink all the wine by myself on the couch. And I'm not going to be able to do that. So I got to come up with a usable
Hey,
alternative.
we're your support group. Feel free to text us. That's not an issue. I'm here for you, bud.
I'm going to do it.
I'm gonna be watching as well.
I'm
You
going to
know, I
do it.
don't drink that much, so I'll probably be pretty sober. And yeah, don't be afraid to hit me up. That'd be
I
good.
won't. I'll send you a picture of myself.
Please do.
This
Only
is
from
me,
the waist,
sober.
only the waist down,
The
please.
waist down, no close. Oh yeah.
Well, thank you.
Really quick, Aaron, who's gonna win the playoff games this weekend in the NFL?
You know, I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I'm
Yeah.
leaning towards the Calgary Flames.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
right.
Dom, did you see that the Heat just gave Eric Spoelstra an
I
8-year, $120
did
million
see that.
extension?
I did see that.
Holy guacamole.
No hate from me there.
Hey, there's no fights that just happened, so I feel like these types of
Gotta
things
recap something.
qualify
Yeah.
as
I'll say this. We haven't seen fighting in a long time.
we haven't. And really the only thing to recap about fights are some of the announcements. I mean, UFC 299 is like looking sharp as fuck. They added Dustin Poirier versus Benoit Saint Denis. Come
Mm-hmm.
on. I'd
Mm-hmm.
love to see the Diamond fight Boner Saint Penis. I think that that's a good fight. I think
That
it's a tough one
is
for Dustin.
that is a ballsy move by Dustin Poirier.
Right? Number 3 going to number 12. But at the same time, like Justin Gaethje did it. Like he went down to fight Fiziev. Charles Oliveira is now doing it at 300 with Sarukian.
Yeah.
So like all of
This
it's bizarre, but like you know what? They're just fighting each other over and over again. So I like the fact that they're putting the new blood in there. I really do.
I agree with that completely. This 299 card is loaded.
It's loaded. I mean, we
Yeah.
of course you have the main event of Sugar Sean and Cheeto rematch. That's great. Dustin Poirier, Benoit Saint Denis, Gilbert Burns versus Jack Magdalena. And I mean, I'm looking at that one too. That's 4-11. And then I mean, you got the intro of Michael Venom Page coming in. That's just amazing. I think that the Curtis Blades, Jailton Almeida is
But-
probably one of the most interesting fights on the card. I think this is really going to be a good test for Jailton. Like Curtis is kind of underrated, even though he's got chinned a couple times.
Where is this card?
This fight is going to be in Miami.
Oh, okay, I knew that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Katie Chooks, Macy Barber, Gamrot Dos Anjos, Piotr Jan, Song Yadong. That's,
That's wild. Like they have that on the prelim.
I
Is
think
that
that
on the prelim?
that might be on the prelim,
I-
although they don't have
Ooh.
it separated out
Yeah, they
yet on the
don't.
website. Um, and I mean, of course, who's not going to throw down pay-per-view money to watch Lauren Murphy?
Okay.
Aaron, yes, yeah, that's a true statement. Who would, who wouldn't throw down $79.99 to watch Lauren Murphy, one-time title challenger,
Yeah.
fight again in the UFC?
What
like-
do you? Yeah, go ahead.
Dustin Poirier, Benoit Saint-Denis,
Mhm.
5-round co-main
Yeah,
is excellent.
Yeah.
This may have been a misquote from Dana, but he said it was a BMF eliminator fight.
yeah. Apparently, that's because Benoit like really wants that title. Like he really wants to be the BMF. That's his
A
thing.
BMF eliminator.
I think that's
Fucking
like his
sick.
special forces coming out. Like I'm the baddest motherfucker, so
Mhm.
he wants the BMF.
Yeah.
And then Poirier,
I
I don't know.
this
Like,
is all risk for him. If he's gonna be 35 by the time this fight takes place.
Took a bad kick to the head.
Took a bad kick to the
Yes.
head. I mean, Kamaru didn't look terrible in the second fight with Leon, but he looked different. And I mean, he wasn't ready for Kamzat. I mean, that could just be size, but I'm worried for Dustin on this one. Like in our chat, I mentioned that I think this one's bad for Dustin, but every time he gets in there, I forget how friggin' good his boxing
Yeah.
is.
How good in general he is. In
Yeah.
fights, yeah.
Yeah, so I've got hopes for him. And I mean, we'll dig more into 300 as it fills out. Probably once they announce the
I-
main.
I don't want to talk about 300 until we actually know what's happening on it.
I think that's a good
I don't
call.
wanna- I don't wanna
we still
play-
don't even have a main card or
Me
main,
of all
main
people,
event.
I don't want to play the
Nah.
games that you know who is trying to play. We will not speak his name at this moment in time.
No,
And you
no.
both know damn well who I'm talking about.
That-
Although, did you notice on the UFC's website, UFC 300 has a different logo?
yeah, it's actually pretty cool. Let
It
me
is
let me
cool.
go
I
back to
agree.
it. It's kind of got that graffiti.
Yeah.
Not even graffiti. It's like the movie 300. They went with like that
Oh,
blood.
is that what that is?
Kind of looks like it to me. No, that's more graffiti.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna click on it. We're not gonna even look at it yet.
We know that Bo is fighting. We know Gary's fighting. We know Oliveira and Sarukian are fighting.
Yep.
Those
Yeah.
are the things we know. Oh, and Aljamain
Yes.
Sterling and Calvin Kattar.
Yes. And
Yeah,
that's a
let's
good.
be real. Those are 4 really, really good fights.
They really
Really
are.
good.
Yeah.
We're
What
not
do you
going to
th-
go there until we go there.
What do you think about the announced Masvidal versus Nate Diaz boxing match? Which I mean, that's a rematch of the first BMF
Is that a real thing?
belt. Yeah, yeah, supposedly. I don't know if it's confirmed yet, but
I-
that's a thing.
What do you think I think about that?
I think that's a big ass money grab for a not very exciting fight.
I don't care in the slightest about that fight.
Yeah, nobody asked for
Fabulous.
that. Yeah, nobody asked for that. So I mean, the fact that they're doing it, to your point, Aaron, is like they're just trying to get another bag, even though that's going to be a small bag because who's paying to watch that?
Yeah, yeah. Who knows? People in Miami, crypto bros, maybe.
Crypto bros.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. The one fight on 300 that I am very excited about because it is announced and posted on there is Yuri Prohaska and Alexander Rakic. That's
It's my
that's
guy. It's my dark horse for the 205 division.
I like it.
yeah, yeah. And you know what's really funny that Rakic would come up because I recently went on a little bit of a camping trip. I went to a camp, and you know what? He was there. What do you know? There are 16 fighters that went on this Aaron's Fight camping trip with me. And for those listening or watching, this is a game we play where there are a few fighters that I have chosen that all share something in common. And my guys and you guys at home, take some guesses at who might have gone camping with me. And Alexander Ratchich is your first one. And that is the only one I'm going to start you off with. So now you may ask, and I will give you a yes or a no on who you think went camping with me.
Josh Parisian.
he, he, he did not go camping with me.
Okay.
And if you both get one wrong, I'll throw another one out there as well. Ryan, and it could be anything. I should throw that out there. Could be anything they have in common. Throw me a
Yeah, but
fighter.
we don't have anything to go off of.
Keep guessing.
Yuri Prohashka.
Yuri Prohashka will not be joining me.
Damn.
But I mean, I'm a pretty big fan of this young lady, and I'm pretty excited that she was able to join my camp. And that's Katie Chooks, formerly, of course, now she's Katie Sermonara. Congrats. And now you each get another turn. And the goal, by the way, I should have prefaced this to the game, is to figure out what they all have in common.
Yeah. Have
There.
they seen the movie Rocky 3? I don't know.
One of your favorites was there, Dom.
I was just gonna say, was Michael Chandler there?
You know what's weird? He was there. Michael Chandler. He was a good guy. I was glad he was there. Yes, he was. Do you get another guess, or is it now Ryan's turn? We're figuring these rules out as we go.
It should be Ryan's turn.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. All right, so you went camping, and we had Katie Chooks. We had Iron Michael Chandler,
We did.
and Alexander Rakich.
Yes. I need like a musical thinking sound to throw behind here. Eventually, you're just gonna have to pick one at random.
Yeah, clearly. But was Bo Nickel there by chance?
He was not. I'm sorry.
This is something to do with one title fight that they lost.
I'm not gonna give you any sort of hints like that.
Yeah, because I'm on the
I
right
don't.
track
I don't
there,
think.
for
I don't
sure.
think
Was
Rakich
Dominic
has fought
Reyes
for
there?
a title.
Dominic Reyes was there.
Yeah.
That was a great call. Dom, you've picked 2 out of the last 3.
Yeah, because all of them have challenged for the title and challenged for it one time and lost.
That is not what this camping trip was about. But that's a
Am I-
great guess.
Close?
I can't give you that answer.
Was Nikita Krylov there?
Is it your turn?
I don't know. I got Dominic Reyes.
I'm for it. If you get it right, I'm for letting you go again.
All right.
I will give you a hint.
Okay.
I sent you some of his clothing and his autograph.
Oh, was Stipe there?
Stipe was there, man. He was on
Oh,
the
that-
barbecue. It was
that doesn't-
great.
That doesn't work.
That doesn't help.
No.
I had these at the ready too.
Yeah. We didn't get to what I did on New Year's Eve. This is what I did on New Year's Eve. Yeah. All right. Oh, you got it right again.
Was Carolina Kolkevich there?
No, I'm very sorry.
All right.
Back on Ryan. There are 16 total fighters. Not that that number necessarily.
Do we have to do this until we guess all 16, or can we?
No, we have to
Nah.
find out what they have in common. That's the whole
Yeah.
point. We could guess all the fighters.
Yeah,
but we still don't know. We still don't know what they have in common.
there's way too many. I'll tell you what, when we get down to 3 fighters left, then I will maybe we'll even do 5. We'll do 5. If we get to 5 fighters left, then we'll get there. You guys are doing well so far. And I think you will get there.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Oh,
Did you go camping with yourself and 16 of your closest friends who are UFC fighters that have taken more than a couple of years away in between fights?
is not the case.
Damn.
But you still can get a fighter.
Was Tatiana Suarez there?
Tatiana Suarez was not there.
What about Tim Elliott or his wife?
Tim
Oh.
Elliott. Well, Elliot's
his
wife
wife.
was in one of the tents with a couple of the other guys.
Oh, okay, a hint.
No. Oh, you guys both were both incorrect on that last round. If I'm correct,
That's correct.
am I correct on that?
You're correct that
are.
we were incorrect.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. Oh shit. The Cookie Monster was there.
Mhm.
Brought cookies. Go figure. So is Calvin Kattar.
Kattar, apparently.
I meant to put Stipe back.
Mm-hmm.
But Calvin Kattar and Cookie Monster were both there.
I
Mhm.
don't have the slightest idea. I'm not that great at stuff like this.
I think you're doing pretty well so far.
Clearly, neither am I. Was
Is it
was
related in any way to title fights?
No,
Okay.
it was not.
was Henry Cejudo with you?
He was not.
Balls.
Did anyone order the Dvalishvili?
Nobody ordered that because he wasn't there, but I won't count that as a guess.
Ryan Ortega.
Ryan Ortega was there.
Oh,
He
Is
was.
this like time in the rankings?
No.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
are you sure?
We're getting down there. How many have we got so far? We've picked 8. So you guys need to get 3 more, and then I will reveal this if it's not getting closer.
Dan Ige.
Dan 50K Ige was not there. Mm-hmm. One more from Ryan, and then I reveal another.
Hmm. Uh. Was Dominic Cruz there?
He was there. That is a great, great guess. Dominic Cruz was on this camping trip. Oh, that means I'm not revealing one. Dom, are you there? Did you step away? Okay, he stepped away. So you get his guess.
Was Daniel Cormier there?
He was not. In which case, I will reveal another one.
Okay.
Juliana Pena was there. So just to recap so far, because you only have one guess left. Dominic Reyes was there. Stipe was there. Calvin Cater was there. Carla Esparza, Alexander Ratchich, Michael Chandler, Brian Ortega, Juliana Pena, Dominic Cruz, and Katie Chooks. Dom, the guess is on you now.
Amanda Nunez.
Was not there. Ryan, you want one more guess? And if you are incorrect, I will reveal the remaining fighters.
Mm.
Then I'm hopeful that you will get it.
Was Paul Felder there?
Paul Felder was not there. All right.
Who doesn't go camping? Everyone knows that.
No, he's no. So another attendee of this trip, Macy Chazon.
Okay.
Another attendee, Paulo Costa.
I almost said Caio Barrayo, and he's the same person.
Jack Hermanson was there. Yes, he was. Renato Moicano joined us.
Are these fighters that have been ranked in the top 15 their whole UFC career?
No, but you are getting closer.
Hmm.
In the top 10? I don't know.
Alex Perez was there.
Uh-huh.
Only one more. And that was Matt Schnell. So these are the 16 fighters that went on my fight camp with me.
Did you guys all share a tent?
We all shared a tent.
Okay.
One tent, one sleeping bag,
Yeah.
one 17 person sleeping bag.
Yeah.
It's as tall as it is wide, so that makes sense.
It is the chodiest of tents. Gentlemen, the people I went camping with are the top 15 fighters who did not fight in 2023.
Oh.
All of these fighters are ranked, and they did not fight last year at all. So thank you for participating in this camping trip with me.
I said, did it have something to do with rankings? And you said no.
I did when you said it got to the 15,
Okay.
but that was the camping trip. Thanks for joining.
That was a good one. I think I definitely overthought that.
Yeah, me too.
Well, sometimes we do some crazy shit on this. It could be the letters in the name. It could be their age, which I would never fucking torture with anybody with that.
One of these times you're gonna do something related to interim belts, your favorite thing. And
We're gonna
know.
get that
We're
shit
gonna
right away.
know.
Yep. So Dustin Poirier went with me.
Yeah.
Tony Ferguson was there. Tom Aspinall. Okay, we can't go on that camping trip yet.
We need to, you know what we need to do?
What's that?
It's time.
And now it's time for the Pretty Neat Podcast picks. And now it's time for the Pretty Neat Podcast
Brian, go ahead. AFC
Football
first.
games?
Yeah.
Let's go Saturday to Monday. So
Okay,
Saturday.
let me get the schedule up. I'm sorry.
Saturday, first game on the docket is Browns versus Texans. Texans winning their division with their rookie quarterback CJ Stroud. Get a home game. However, I think the Browns, with what Joe Flacco has done with that team and turn them into an offensive threat, pairing them with an excellent defense, I think they're going to run away with that. I like the Browns. I like them to at least get out of the wild card round. And then the really big game, the intriguing game, that's the Dolphins Chiefs Saturday evening. So my dad, being from Kansas, is a Chiefs fan. I like to give them shit as much as possible. The Chiefs have really collapsed, but the Dolphins haven't been much better either. Give me the Chiefs, right, in a home game.
Oh,
I just think, and you have the Hard Knocks bias, I think, going on. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago, but give me the Chiefs. I still think the Chiefs find a way to win this one. I am concerned about the injuries that they took on their offensive line in the last week of the year, the regular season, against the Chargers, which gives me some pause. However, Mahomes is Mahomes. And they have time to prepare. Weather will be on their side. Home crowd. I just like them. I like them to win. And they're 4-point favorites right now.
Something interesting. That is, at least according to this page I'm looking at on ESPN, the cheapest ticket of the weekend.
Weird.
Isn't that interesting?
Well, the current weather forecasted for Kansas City at game time. Anybody want to guess?
I'm gonna go with 20 degrees.
Well, maybe this is current weather. This says 2 degrees.
Oh,
Jeez.
is that cold?
Bro, we're supposed to have 14 degrees 1 week from today here.
Yarg.
Yeah, fuck that.
I'm with you. Give me Cleveland. I do think they've got a promising future, but I don't think it's this year. And then I'm gonna go with Kansas City too, only because Miami lost Bradley Chubb.
Yep. And when you lose your Chubb, things typically go sideways.
With 2 B's.
Chubb with 2 B's. Let's be clear. Bradley Chubb.
Pittsburgh, Buffalo. What do you got?
Buffalo. The fact that TJ Watt can't play is a real kick in the dick for the Steeler fans.
Yeah, that's the worst. I love TJ Watt.
TJ Watt is a badass. They've done a lot of great things with Mason Rudolph, surprisingly. But give me the Bills.
Okay.
That also, it's supposed to snow. It's going to be 24 degrees at game time there.
Yeah, it's gonna be crushing up there.
And I was right previously in Kansas City at kickoff, 5:00 in the evening, forecasted 2 degrees.
Damn.
That's cold.
Yep.
Not gonna
So
say
cold
it's
it can't snow.
Yep.
Uh,
Give me
Packers,
Buffalo
Cowboys?
there. Packers, Cowboys, go.
Ooh. Got to be the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Cowboys offense is just way too dynamic.
Did they
and
lose
they're-
at home all season?
That's a great question. I don't know if they did. Let's take a quick
They're
peek.
a very good home team.
They're very good offensively, and they have the wherewithal, the means to play from behind, which we talked about with Brock Purdy not being
No,
able
they
to
were
play from
undefeated.
behind.
Undefeated at home.
Ooh, yep. Looking at that.
Yep.
There you go.
I don't think that changes.
Fantastic. No. Green Bay, really good story.
Yeah.
Jordan Love taking over.
Yeah.
And they really caught fire. They beat the Chargers, which in hindsight, not the biggest victory.
They don't exactly have a ton of wins against good teams, is my concern with them.
Division's a little
Chicago,
weak.
New Orleans, the Rams who didn't have Stafford, the Chargers, the Lions, that's a pretty good win. Kansas City, that's another good win. Carolina, Minnesota, and Chicago again, but a couple good wins for Green Bay.
There
Yeah.
you go. Could I
I'll
ask
take the Cowboys.
Can I ask a silly question? It's semi-football related, but it's
Yes, and
also
we have 2 more games though.
oh yeah.
Is it related to one of those games or is it separate? Is why
One
I
of the
asked.
games already discussed it, and it's
All
more
right,
to feed my
let's do it.
curiosity. The Kansas City Chiefs, do they play in the Kansas side of Kansas City or the Missouri side?
The Missouri. side.
Missouri.
Okay. And your dad has no qualms with that being that he's from Kansas.
No, because Kansas City, I mean, there is Kansas City in Kansas, but Kansas City typically, when you think of it, is Missouri.
Yeah.
But Kansas doesn't have a professional football team. They actually don't have a professional sports team outside of the Royals, which
No,
I
they
also
play in
think is
Kansas
in
City,
Missouri.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So Kansas doesn't have shit.
They have the
They just
college
have,
basketball team.
yes, very
The Jayhawks.
divisive. Kansas Jayhawks and Kansas State.
Yep.
Cool. Well, that was my question. Thanks for answering it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. On to the next game.
On to
Yeah.
the next game.
Sunday
Most expensive
night.
ticket of the weekend.
Well, here's the thing. Do the Rams get
sense.
it done? Do the Rams get it done? Are they building on the momentum, or the Lions like breaking the stigma? You know, you and I talked about this, about how you feel that McVay is just in Goff's head rent free all of the time.
Do you not feel that he is?
I don't doubt it. I don't dispute it. But the Lions are playing really good, and I really like the Rams as well, with obviously with Stafford and Puka, who set a rookie record last week, which is awesome. Kyron Williams is
You
really
realize
good.
he had the second most rushing yards in the league and he didn't play in 5 games?
That's insane, which totally just underscores the
meaninglessness of running backs.
the league and how they utilize their personnel.
Yeah. I'm
don't know.
sorry. He was third. Derek Williams passed him by 23 yards because he played the last week and Kyron didn't.
Okay. But still, like, impressive. He didn't play for almost
Christian
a
McCaffrey
third
had
of the year.
300 more yards total. So
Wow.
go ahead, San Francisco. Give Christian a giant contract. I'm fucking begging you. That's worked out for every team that's ever done it for a running back. Anyway, who are you picking?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm gonna root for the Rams, but I think the Lions win.
The Lions are 3-point favorites. The Rams money line is not available to me at the moment, and for some reason ESPN is not showing it, which is annoying me. What if I click on the game? Will it show me then? The money line is there it is. Plus 145. I love that bet. Minus 105 if you get him at the +3. I love the over 51.5 points total. I do think it's going to be a higher scoring game. Even odds on the Lions at -3.5. It actually moved. That's where it opened, and it's -3 now. I am picking the Rams here only because of the McVay. I think Sean McVay knows all of Jared Goff's weaknesses. And I think he can walk over to Raheem Morris with a book and say, this is what he's not good at. Figure it out. And I do think that shows here. I would not necessarily pick them to beat a lot of teams, being completely honest with you. But I do think they can figure it out against Detroit. And I think Stafford is the kind of guy that in the back of his mind is like, you know what? I fucking ruined my body for 11 years, busting my ass and playing with a dislocated throwing shoulder to win meaningless games. You got me Calvin Johnson one time and I had no help for however long. Fuck you. I'm gonna bend you over and shove it up your ass now, is what I think he's gonna do. But the Lions very well could win. Either way, great season for the Rams. They had 2 less wins than the 49ers did. So, and they ended up with that bullshit loss to Pittsburgh and that bullshit loss to Cincinnati. So
Yeah. And
Deal
to
with
your
it.
point, your original point, this is the highest over underline of all 6 games. So
mhm.
very well could be just a shootout, which is always fun. That's why they got it in the primetime spot.
Yeah. And then Monday night, Philly and Tampa.
I don't know, dude. You asked me who's going to win the Super Bowl, and I told you I think it's still going to be the Eagles, and then they have gone out and just essentially shit the bed,
Not great.
completely fallen apart. It's concerning, right? I don't know if Tampa Bay gets it done. Like, we're all here for the Bake Show, Baker Mayfield. It's
Baker
Baker
season.
time. Baker's dozen, right? Count me among the dozen. But
count me among the dozen.
you like that?
I
Count me
do.
among the dozen.
I do.
I just don't know. I don't know if they can beat Philadelphia. Philadelphia has so much offensive firepower.
So
If they get things working, I don't know if they can match that.
So Baker this year, okay, 17 games. He threw for 4,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Quarterback rating 94.6. He was 364 for 566 completions to attempts. He was like borderline out of football.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Brett Ripien started an NFL game this year. Easton Stick started an NFL game this year. They pulled Joe Flacco out of his backyard at 38 years old, and he's winning games. I just sometimes think the quarterback thing, Carson Wentz obviously was against mostly backups against San Francisco, looked pretty good. I didn't realize Carson Wentz was that big. Did you notice that? He's big. He's like a good 6'5". I don't know. I just think there's all this talk about Caleb Williams and Drake May and Jaden Daniels or whatever coming out of college. You never know. You never know. Jared Goff, right? They called him a bust, and he really actually kind of hasn't been a bust. He played in the Super Bowl. Brock Purdy, as much as I don't think he's as good as some people do, was the last pick in the draft. Tom Brady, right? Like, you can get too cute with it. But then also Peyton Manning, I think, was the second overall pick, right? Who Ryan, who went
No, he was
first?
number 1.
Are
Peyton
you
Manning was
sure?
number 1. Number 2 was the immortal Ryan Leaf in the 1990.
Who picked him?
The San Diego Chargers.
Oh,
picked
yeah.
him.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, Peyton was number 1. You're right.
He was number 1. I mean,
Yeah.
it was essentially at the time, if I recall correctly, it was, man, both these guys can go number 1. It just depends on which team likes who more. And they couldn't be more wrong, right? The the people that were prognosticating as to whether or not these two individuals would be equal. Now, who's to say that Ryan Leaf with the Colts may have turned out differently in a different environment? Who's to say? Don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And there is, there's something to say because Eli Manning, who was drafted by the Chargers as well in 2004, basically said, I'm not going to play for them. And that's where they got the draft day trade after being drafted for Phillip Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
That also got them Sean Merriman and Nate Kading in that draft, which worked out in the Chargers' favor. It's just the Chargers are charging, and they're charging every year, and they will continue to charger until they fix things from the top down. And that starts with ownership, honestly. The Spanos family have notoriously been cheap in investing in their coaching staff, and it shows.
Is charging to football what angeling is to baseball?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
ESPN, as a matter of
Nice.
fact, recently gave the Angels an F for this offseason. Yeah.
I mean,
uh,
you
full
do
F.
fail. You don't get Ohtani, you fail, like regardless of what you've done, and they haven't really done much since then.
Well, no, Ryan, they haven't.
Nope.
No,
Nope.
they haven't. So
have
that
not.
04 draft is an interesting one because the Chargers did take Eli and then immediately traded him like an hour later, right?
Yep. Yep.
You remember who was second that year without looking at it?
No, I do not.
Robert Gallery. You remember that guy?
The wide receiver?
No, tackle for the Raiders.
Well, then I don't.
Yeah. And then listen to this run of players though. Larry Fitzgerald, Phillip Rivers, Sean Taylor, and Kellen Winslow Jr. 3,
Dang.
4, 5, 6. Roy Williams, I don't remember him, to Detroit, and then D'Angelo Hall. 11, Roethlisberger. Jonathan Vilma, 12. Vince Wilfork, 21. Steven Jackson, 24. Like that's a pretty good first round.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking that that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Watson was the 2004 draft. Man, he was playing a few years ago as a tight end. Damn. Igor Olshansky. Travis LeBoy. That guy who was drafted by the Titans, but he played for the Chargers. Cliff has a Travis LeBoy jersey. Cliff has like the most obscure collection
I
of Charger jerseys.
Love that. Let's do this.
Yes.
Let's start the year off, the calendar year, with a 6 for 6.
Oh man, I would love that.
We can do it.
I agree.
Definitely can do it.
Do we want to talk about any of the prelims before we get into the main event and the main the featured prelim, which are the 6 fights that we do make picks for on an app that will not be named until they make us an affiliate? Or are
I
any of
don't
these
want
jumping
to
out?
talk about any of these.
It's not really.
I would
much
just
jumping.
say quickly, just a couple comments. Farid Basharat on the prelims. He's a up and coming prospect.
Mhm.
He's undefeated, which is interesting to keep him there. You got
Was
Andrei
he-
Arlovsky.
Wasn't Farid the winner of Road to UFC? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
I don't know if he was. I
Maybe he was
believe
on
he
it.
is one of 2 Basharat brothers, the
That could be
Bash
what it is.
brothers.
Got it. Man.
And then you have Semi the Jedi.
The
That
Bash
Semi
Brothers.
the Bash brothers. You like that? That's 2 this episode for me.
Yeah.
Semi the Jedi versus Preston Parsons should be a good fight, and then Andrei Arlovsky, the Ageless Wonder,
Mm-hmm.
who's a massive underdog against
Yeah.
Waldo. Where's Waldo Cortez Acosta?
And we're
that's
picking
it.
that. We're picking
We
that.
are?
That's
Mhm.
number 6. Yeah. Yeah. And if you
Oh,
want
it is
to,
number 6. Okay,
we could jump right into that. So
let's go. Look at that.
we've got that line right up. Ignore the blank boxes on the side. That's where our faces will go. Yeah, man. I don't. Andrei Arlovsky's chin is gone. In my opinion, this is the UFC's way of saying it's time to go, brother. In my opinion, but he also sells tickets. So I mean, when it comes to a fight night, Andrei Arlovsky being on it is going to help, at least in some ways. But man, I don't like this at all for Andrei Arlovsky, and our options on this on our over-unders are 38.5 significant strikes, 8.5 fight time in minutes, and 114.5 fantasy score for Waldo Cortez Acosta, who is a large favorite. I'll jump in on this one. I'll take this one first. My initial reaction is under on fight time. That's my initial reaction.
Yep, I am right there with you. Looking at just a couple of key indicators for me. One, Andrei Arlovsky is 44. His opponent is 32. Similar reach. Significant strikes landed per minute. Huge disparity.
Huge.
and it's huge. Huge. 6.97 significant strikes landed per minute for Waldo
That's a
Cortez
lot.
Acosta versus 3.78 for Andre. Now, that's not to say that Andre can't catch him, and that would also play into our favor for the under.
Mm-hmm.
But Waldo has a higher significant strike accuracy, and neither of them go for takedowns.
Mm-hmm. I also appreciate the negative strike the strike differential for Waldo. I mean, you can see that Arlovsky's getting hit just as much as he's throwing, and
I-
and the defense is there for Waldo. The speed should be there for Waldo. Everything should be there for Waldo. So that's my initial thought on this particular one is under on the fight time.
I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah. And significant strikes, like we were talking, these are fucking heavyweights. This could be 2 shots and it's done. You know.
Agreed.
So
Yep.
and a fantasy score, we've just been burned on that. With because of what was it? We missed it by half a significant strike on
We've
that.
missed it by inside of 3 points a number of times.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a rough one. So it
Yeah.
seems like our pick on this one is going to be fight time. That's the one to choose. I'm gonna make this the
Yay.
right color. That way it looks pretty. Perfect. Awesome. Then we move up the card. Bruno Fajeda is the
we
favorite.
don't talk about Bruno Fajeda.
No,
Should be his
no,
nickname.
no.
They talk an awful lot about him though.
Yeah. And he's taking on Phil Haas. Ryan, you want to break this one down?
Yeah, this one is almost a pick 'em. It's a plus 110 for Phil Haas. It's a minus 130 for Bruno Fajeda. Similar in age. Phil Haas has a very significant reach advantage. They're throwing and landing roughly the same amount of significant strikes per minute, roughly 5.5 each. Phil Haas has the higher significant strike accuracy, and it's actually much higher at 66.79%. versus Bruno Fajeda at 54.55. And the thing that's really like sealing it for me in terms of who I think will win, which is Phil Haas, he's getting 2.28 takedowns on average, whereas Bruno Fajeda has 0 and has kept everything standing. So you got a guy 2 inches taller. Phil Haas he's 4 years older, but I don't think that is exceptionally significant. Who has a 5.5 reach advantage. They're throwing similar amounts of strikes, but Phil Haas is landing more accurately.
We don't talk about has an average of 4.24 knockdowns per 15 minutes. His average fight time is 2 minutes and 22 seconds.
He knocked out RoboCop, which was a big upset. Gregory Rodriguez. I remember that. But a lot of that, I think, was Gregory just getting caught looking. Like he everything about that was just Gregory getting hit in the face when he probably shouldn't have. So I'm kind of there with you. Are you leaning either way on any of these options? We have 22.5 significant strikes. We have 4.75 minutes of fight time, or we have 77.5 on a fantasy score.
Under on fight time, and I will say this. I know I picked D8, Phil Haas, whatever his name is, to win. In his last 5 fights, Phil Haas, all of his losses have been to first round TKO.
Yeah, if he's gonna lose, it'll be in the first round.
Under 4.5 minutes for every single one of them.
So then why not the over on fantasy score? 77.5 feels low if we think Bruno's gonna do it in the first round.
Yeah,
it does feel low.
That does.
But
feel
you're saying you don't
low.
think he's going to win, actually, so then we should not pick that.
I don't think that's unreasonable. Yeah.
I
not
don't know
pick it.
enough about either of these guys to really have an opinion. The odds are it's essentially a pick 'em, just fight odds, and then I don't know the all those numbers seem weirdly low for
They
different
do.
reasons.
Yeah. I think it's the chinniness of Phil Hawes. That last one he lost against Askarov, was that his name? I just had it up on the screen. Just looked bad. Like Ryan was just saying, he gets TKO'd in the first round. If you catch his chin, he's done. And that's exactly what Bruno did to Gregory Rodriguez. So, I mean, I'm kind of with you on the fight time, as opposed to anything else.
The under?
The
The
under.
under on the fight time. So Bruno Fejeda's last 5 fights, 4 wins, 1 loss. Unfortunately, his last fight was a loss that was also a first round TKO
Mm-hmm.
in July. But prior to that, first round TKO, first round TKO, first round TKO, first round TKO, and all victories. 2 of those are outside the organization. One was a Dana White Contender Series, and then one was at UFC 283 against Gregory Rodriguez that Aaron was mentioning. And then he lost by TKO. So like somewhat hedging my bets, still like the under because you have the finishing potential for either.
Mhm.
And it just seems like Bruno is going to come out guns blazing.
I agree. It's also the card opener. They want that shit to be exciting. The matchmakers definitely want to put something up that's gonna light up social media right after it starts to get people going on. So that maybe that's a little bit inside the sanctum, but at the same time, I do think this is gonna be fireworks and it's gonna be early. Are we
Agreed.
going fight time? And we're
Under.
going less. We're
Yeah.
going less on the fight time. I should have probably denoted that on the last one. The last one we were going less as well. Beauty.
Right.
Now we got
Ricky Simone and Ricky Simon.
yes.
Simone?
Does he go by Simone? I think he goes
I
by
don't know.
Simone.
Simone.
Not a Frenchman. Mario Bautista. I really feel like there is an exploitable statistic here.
What's that?
I think it's the under on fantasy score. Ricky does not land a whole lot of strikes, 3 per minute, significant. He absorbs 3.23, so that's a negative differential. Not good.
He's a
his average
control
fight
guy.
time 12 and a half minutes.
Damn.
12 minutes and 38 seconds to be exact. So, even a third round finish, does that get him above 90? Does that get him to 91, I should say?
It could, depending on how he controls the fight, but he's a heavy grappler. Like he's a heavy grappler. There's gonna be a lot of cage work on this one. I don't even like and the reason I want to stay away from significant strikes on this one is Mario Batista does like to box. He's just a little bit older. He's been in the game for a while. And I think Simone has the hunger, but
So say it goes the distance.
yeah.
Effectively, Ricky lands 3 per minute, so that's 15. So he lands 45 significant strikes if the fight goes all 15 minutes.
Which is maybe 30 points.
But I'm saying we could also potentially take the under there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's under on significant strikes. Ryan, what do you think?
Tough. When I was looking at this, it just like, who do I think can win? I don't like the way Ricky Simone looked against Song Yadong. That's his most recent fight. Prior to that, he hadn't fought in a year. And then prior to that, he hadn't fought in a year, where he fought 3 times in 2021. Mario Batista is younger than Ricky Simone. He's 30. similar reach. He throws far more. He does like to mix up some takedowns. He's a more accurate striker, and he goes for more submissions. So maybe Ricky doesn't go for a lot of takedowns, but tries to control and grapple along the fence because he's worried about submission threats. He's on a 5-fight win streak. Mario Batista is in the UFC. So for me to think like he's a underdog is interesting. And this is all in the UFC. 2022 decision win, then a submission, and then his last one against Damone Blackshear, who you guys may remember had the third Twister in UFC history last year at UFC 292, which was the Aljamain Sean O'Malley UFC pay-per-view card. He beat him by unanimous decision. He's good. It's a big step up in competition, which is why I think he's a slight underdog here, but I think he actually wins.
Yeah, he could be
So
a really live dog.
I like Simone under on fantasy.
Yeah. You sold me on it all the way. Like, despite what I said about him being in the game for a while, you sold me on that, because I do think Batista has a really good shot at this. And we haven't picked a dog yet. At least not that I can recall from the previous. So yeah, I'm for it. We're going under on 90.5 on the fantasy score for Ricky Simone versus Mario Batista. That fantasy score, of course, would be going to Ricky Simone being the favorite, but we think he's probably gonna lose. So there you go. We got 3 more picks to make for our 6th pick, and we get one of my favorite fighters. Mr. Jim Miller's coming back, and this one is hard for me because he is the underdog. I hate that about this fight, that he's the underdog, because I don't know what the UFC is thinking. They have to get Jim Miller on UFC 300 in April. So
No,
got-
they don't.
they
don't have to
do,
do
because
that.
he was on 100, he was on 200. Let's fucking do it.
They don't have to.
they
They don't care about that.
it is mandated by Pretty Neat Law.
Oh, you're instituting a mandate here in the second week of January. Okay.
We're getting Dana on the phone. We're
All
getting
right.
Dana on the phone. What's Gabriel Benitez's last fight? I'm gonna bring that up. Unless one of you guys got it already.
I got it.
I got it.
Okay,
go ahead.
So he's it's interesting. Jim Miller, we know he's older. He's 40 years old. Gabriel Benitez, nicknamed Mowgli, which is fun. 35. So it was against Carlos Ontiveros.
Look at
and
that
was in
fucker's hair.
He is a wild looking dude. Looks like he's out of Sweeney Todd in the like tone of his
That's
lighting in that picture.
That's Splenda Sean O'Malley.
That's Sean O'Malley if Sean O'Malley was in Sweeney Todd. Boom. Got it.
Boom.
Oh,
he's gonna sing a song now.
Fuck it.
All right,
That's
so here's the thing. Gabriel Benitez didn't fight at all in 2023.
Oh wow.
His
Okay.
last fight was in 2022 in August,
Yeah.
which was a first round KO.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. Prior to that, first round TKO loss to Daniel Onama. If you remember, he's a pretty good fighter. And then prior to that,
David
a
Onama.
first round David Onama, my bad. And then Billy Quarantillo also knocked him out in the 3rd round. So he can be got. And that's how Jim Miller's been winning of late.
Yep.
Has been with fisticuffs as opposed to submissions.
Yeah. His last submission was like Cerrone, wasn't it? Didn't I just see that? I think. Yeah, regardless of that, Jim Miller's also been very active. You know,
He's
like
been very active.
and I think that plays to his advantage as a veteran and just as a fighter in general. I don't think the guy's ever out of camp. And I appreciate that about him. I also feel like this is that thing about him being on 300. I think that they want Jim Miller to be in a fight where he will take very little damage, whether he wins or loses. which is harder to do if you lose, obviously. I kind of think they're expecting Jim to get this done for the reasons you said. He catches people. And I think that Gabriel's a guy he can catch.
So that makes the pick a
I
little bit weird.
Does. It does. And then what's weird too is that the picks on Prize Picks are for Gabriel, whereas UFC does show Jim Miller as a favorite.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, ESPN has him as a favorite as a -125.
Interesting. So it is pretty much a coin flip. The options here on our over-unders are 37.5 significant strikes for Gabriel, 8.5 minutes or less, or more or less on fight time, or 71.5 fantasy score for Gabriel. Now, one thing I can see, I could see this being a long fight. If there is no catching, if there is no if nobody gets caught here, this could be a unanimous decision or a split. And that kind of points me towards that fantasy score again. I know we've gone to it a couple times tonight already. But these guys are going to throw, so that significant strikes number seems too low.
So they both actually average a little bit more than 8.5 minutes.
Interesting.
Jim at 9:36 and Benitez at 8:31.
But Jim's is over such a long period of time also, and he's been finishing
Mhm.
people more lately. Like
Yeah,
as
that's true. We need to look at his most recent fights.
So
Yeah.
he had first round, whoever something Butler decision loss to Hernandez.
Mm-hmm.
He beat Cowboy in the second round.
Yep.
Let's see. So 2 of his last 6 fights have gone past 8.5 minutes. So
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that could be part of that whole time thing. Maybe over on the time here's not a bad move actually, because Jim does find his spots. He doesn't
the
rush.
under just feels like we're cutting it close.
Yeah.
For
It-
time,
it-
yeah, I agree.
It
If we
very
think
well
that
could be. I
if we
don't know.
think Jim Miller's going to win, why
It's the
wouldn't we just
fantasy
go
score.
under on fantasy?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm leaning towards.
And at the very least, it's not one of those weird 115 point numbers. And so we're
Yeah.
basically picking Jim Miller to win.
Yeah.
I can live with that.
Yeah. We're living with it.
We love this one.
Yes, we do. Future flyweight champ.
Starboy.
Manel Kopp is fighting. Matthias Nicolau is no joke. Of course,
Yep.
this is a rematch. Of course, Matthias Nicolau won the first time they fought, but it was a split decision, and a lot of people thought Kopp actually won that fight. So this is kind of a taking it back type of moment. The two options we have here are for Manel are 65.5 significant strikes or 85.5 on the fantasy score.
That's tough. Like the strikes stands out. Like that's a lot of strikes.
That's a ton of strikes. Remember his last fight was kind of boring? Or am I crazy?
No, it was not. He didn't
It was
have
boring.
the showing people kind of expected.
Mhm.
In that fight, though, he landed a total of 112 significant strikes in 15 minutes.
Yowza.
So
Yowza.
I'm looking at their last fight when they fought on UFC Fight Night, Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad. Remember that where
Yeah,
Bilal got
eye
poked in
poke.
the eye?
Yeah.
Fun.
And lost his chance at
Uh,
ever getting a title in the UFC.
So wild.
He landed
In that fight,
61 significant strikes.
61, correct. And Mateus got 55, but had the 2 takedowns. You would have to expect that Mateus is going to again go for some type of ground attack, control, takedown, which then means that Manel is dealing with that, defending it at the very least. And if he is taken down right? You're not scoring significant strikes from bottom position, which leads me to believe that taking the under on significant strikes seems like the appropriate call. The 85.5, I just don't know what the fuck to do with that on the fantasy score. Like, honestly,
Is
like,
it
what do you
that
do with
just
that?
screams stay away to me?
It
You're like
does.
Is it me
over, under.
or does it feel like they have been giving fighters more significant strikes in the last year or so than they did for a while?
It kind of
Uh,
does. We lost on
I
one
don't
of
have a way to
those.
prove it, but it feels like they're being a little more generous with what a
like, hey guys,
significant
what's
strike
your
is.
definition of significant?
Yeah.
Let's be clear here.
This one, I agree wholeheartedly with Dom on staying away from this fantasy score. There's so many decisions in Manel Kopp's past. Um, and I don't remember if it was Dan Hardy on Full Reptile or if it was the MMA guru who pointed out a really good fact, which is that Mateus Nicolau is geez, who's the fighter I'm thinking of? Uh he fights he slows the fight down. He brings it to like the level of the fight that he wants it to be. Who is it that we talk about saying he fight Kelvin Gastelum, he fights to the level of his opponent. He doesn't really push, he just kind of reacts. Mateus is kind of similar in that he's like, okay, striking exchange, now we grapple. We got away. Striking exchange, now we grapple. And it's he's kind of hoping to get it to the ground. Um, it actually makes me like an over on the significant strikes, unlike what Ryan said, because of those crazy ass numbers that we were talking about. This is a rematch, so maybe there won't be as much of a feeling out process as the first time where they might hesitate a little bit. Um, and I think that that also means Manel might be a little bit more ready for takedowns and grapplings and might have some better escapes. Maybe using a little bit of a couple of traps, maybe even. Um, but 65 significant strikes is a ton. It's a ton. It's a ton. And I feel like
It's a
Manel needs
ton.
to make a statement. He kind of does after the last one. He's riding around the fucking Lamborghini on embedded and all that shit.
A couple of December of 22, he had a 5-round 2 against is it David Dvorak? Yeah.
Yeah, but he only had 55 significant strikes
He
in that
beat he knocked
fight.
out the deep fake Zamagulov in the first round.
Mhm.
He knocked out Ode Osborne in the first round. He lost to Nicolau and he lost to Alex Pantoja in what I believe is his UFC debut, which is kind of wild.
Who's ranked higher in this? Is it Matthias?
It's Manel.
It's Manel. Manel's ranked higher than
I
Matthias right
believe
now.
so. No, they're 5'6".
5 and 6. Oh yeah. Okay.
Manel landed 74 significant strikes against Alex Pantoja.
That's pretty wild, but Alex throws a lot
But
more than he grapples.
nope, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Pantoja's number.
Oh.
Manel landed 49 significant strikes in that fight. So he really has the one outlier fight where he landed a boatload. But I do think it's partially being judged differently.
Yeah. Now I'm going under on that significant strikes with Ryan. I think this could be some fireworks again, potentially,
I'll
or
go with you.
a lot of heavy ground, a lot of grappling to try and negate that power that he's bringing. So yeah, we're let's stick with that. Let's stick with the less significant strikes for Manel. And you know what? He gets it done fucking early, or yeah, there's a lot of grappling in this one and some top control from Mateus where he can't strike back. I like it. I like it. So we're going under 65.5 significant strikes for Starboy Manel Kopp on this pick. That brings us to the main event, and we have all the options to choose from on our over-unders between Magomed Ankalaev and Johnny Walker. The first being significant strikes, which is 36.5. Fight time is 8.5 minutes. Fantasy score is 115.5 points and 1.5 takedowns. I'm going to jump out and say I think that takedown number is too low. I'm over on the takedowns on this one because Johnny Walker has an enormous reach advantage in this. He's got like a 7 or 6 or 7, maybe even more inch reach advantage in the striking, which is what he's going to want to do. And you negate that by taking the fucker down. And I do not believe that Ankalaev is seeing a submission threat from Johnny Walker, which is really the only thing he should be afraid of, since it's its only lost was a submission to Paul Craig. Like way back. So like for me, over on 1.5 takedowns for Magomed is my personal choice off the bat of these 4 choices.
So Magomed took down Jan Blachowicz twice.
Yep, 10 attempts as well. And I would
Yeah.
say I was going to pose the question to you guys. Do we think who do we think is harder to take down, Jan Blachowicz or Johnny Walker? I think the answer is Jan Blachowicz.
I
was
agree.
trying to find Johnny Walker's takedown defense is 57%.
And I'll throw out there too that in their first fight, Magomed and Johnny Walker, because this is
Jan's
the
is
rematch.
69, so he's considerably more difficult to take down.
Oh, geez, yeah. In their first fight, which was a no contest because of that bullshit ref question about asking Johnny Walker where he was, and he was like the desert. He's in fucking Abu Dhabi. That's a correct answer. Let the guy fight. But like, in that fight, Magomed did take down Johnny Walker, but Johnny Walker got right back up.
Well, that doesn't matter. Let him.
No, I think that does matter. It means that Magomed would be taking him down again.
Well,
because he's
yeah,
not being able to
that's what I
hold him
mean. I
down.
mean, it doesn't matter for the. All he has to do is get him down the one time. He doesn't have to hold him there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep. What do you think about? I think the fantasy score on this is bullshit. Like,
It just scares me.
yeah, that 115.
It doesn't align because you have a 115 as your over under for fantasy, but they're saying your line for fight time is 8.5 minutes.
But his average fight time is 11:40. That's the Johnny Walker flash knockout is what they're talking about right there.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right that they're thinking on the flash knockout from Johnny Walker. It almost feels to me like the 36.5 significant strikes and the 8.5 fight times are the you think Johnny Walker's gonna win this
Mhm.
fight bets.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
But I don't know who's gonna win. Magomed's a pretty heavy favorite here, which is kind of interesting.
Mhm.
I think I like the takedowns as well. He averages just over 1 per 15 minutes, so he's just got to get him one more time.
Which I think is the right game plan for Johnny Walker.
Probably.
I
No,
just do.
Magomed.
For Magomed against Johnny Walker, I should say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Interestingly enough, I do think Johnny Walker's gonna win this. I do think Johnny Walker's gonna kind of end the Magomed stuff that's been happening. I mean, he's had that draw with Jan, which kind of blew his title shot, and then the no contest. Like, it just doesn't feel like he's the right guy to be putting into the light heavyweight picture anymore. At least for an immediate title contention. I think Johnny Walker, an issue that he has, which was pointed out on a few different MMA podcasts, is that when he gets hit, he looks like it hurt him more than it did.
Johnny Walker?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think there will be an early stoppage in this at all. I still do. I like Johnny Walker. I even think he's probably going to knock Magomed out, but I don't think it will be early in the fight. I think Magomed's going to close. He's not going to stay at distance. He's gonna have to grapple. He's gonna have to go down.
Okay.
So
Who beat
we're
him?
we're saying over on the takedowns, right?
I'm leaning over on the takedowns.
Yes, I like over on
Yeah.
takedowns.
What were you about to ask, Tom?
I was just trying to figure out who the only person to beat Uncle Ive was. It was Paul Craig.
It was Paul Craig. Yeah, I think it was Uncle Ive's debut
It
or
was,
his
yeah.
second. Yeah, and it was at the very end of the fight, mind you.
What,
Paul Craig was getting the shit.
literally 1 second before the end of the fight.
Yeah, where are the stats on that fight too? Because Magomed was beating the shit out of Johnny Walker before that happened. Or sorry, beating the shit out of Paul
So
Craig.
more total strikes, more
that-
significant strikes, no knockdowns.
He had that weird thing with Ion Kudalaba also.
What is REV? What stat is that?
I don't know.
Shit. REV?
Yeah.
Is that like his? Is that like
It
your?
says
Not finding that.
I wonder if it's on the UFC website. It's total strikes, takedowns, submission attempts, REV. Go down a little bit. Yeah,
Is that like I mean, it feels like maybe it'd be like a reverse of position, but
yeah. I don't know. I think
don't
it's
know.
a typo.
but I mean, even looking at this is what I was mentioning before, like full fight. Look at Magomed, and almost 90 strikes,
Mm-hmm.
no takedowns, mind you, but you don't try and take down Paul Craig.
Mhm.
Like that makes total sense. Or reverse position maybe. That I could see that being. But I mean, yeah. Anyway, Magomed was beating the shit out of Paul Craig until he lost by submission. Is just the point I'm trying to make.
So we go more on the takedowns.
I think we go more on the takedowns.
Ryan?
Yeah, I'm all in on more on the takedowns.
I love that. I love that. So that's the picks that we're making. I'll kick us off on recapping these brief picks. Ryan, if you want to get the next one, and then Dom, you want the one after that. The first pick we chose for our sixth pick is that Magomed Ankalaev will be scoring more than 1.5 takedowns in his fight with Johnny Walker.
All right. This is the people's main event. Manel
Mhm.
Kopp versus Mateusz
Mhm.
Nicolau. And we're just scared to death about this fantasy score of 85.5. So we're basically stay away, right? Stay away. We're going significant strikes. We think that Mateusz is going to try and take down Manel Kopp. We're going under. We're going under on 65.5. He does have an outlier fight in his last fight where he had over 100. And we are concerned about how they're scoring significant strikes. But all that being said, we're still hammering the under on that 65.5 on the 6 strikes.
Aaron's main event is Jim Miller
The person's main
and
event.
Gabriel Benitez. And Gabriel's not going to get to 72 fantasy points.
We agree. And in the Ricky Simone versus Mario Bautista fight, we have decided that Mario Bautista is probably going to win this fight. And therefore, the fantasy score of 90.5 for Ricky Simone is going to be less. I'll even double down on that and say if this does go the distance and Ricky Simone wins, I don't think he's going to do enough to get that score. He's not going to get it. He's not going to get knockdowns. Probably not. And there's just going to be grappling heavy. Probably
You
even
do
few.
know that for sure is now what's going to happen.
Well, that's
It's
the
gonna
point of the
happen. He's gonna
show.
get 92 points.
Yeah, right.
91.25 points.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he is.
All right. Bruno, we don't talk about versus Phil Haas. We think it's going to be just an absolute barn burner, and we don't think this makes it out of the first round. With that being said, we have some statistical evidence to back that up with previous fights all finishing relatively quickly. So we are also, again, we're reversing our historical course and we're hammering the under here on the fight time at a 4.75 total minutes. We're going under, and we think this is a firework ready to pop off with a first round finish.
I like when you read on a sports betting website and they'll be like, well, my model predicts that Alabama is going to beat, Ohio State by 7 points, and then they lose by 15 or some shit. We have a pretty neat model.
One of my favorite quotes is that
Roll damn tide.
what is it? All models are wrong and some are useful.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Where's Waldo Cortez Acosta has a dinner reservation. He does not want to be in the cage for longer than 8.5 minutes with Andrei Arlovsky. And we think the under there too. So we have 5 unders and an over. You guys.
There we go. We're taking a stab
We're
at it.
gonna
With this
go
one.
ahead and kick it off 2024 with a 6 out of 6. Lock it in. I just played it.
Yep.
And it's
I'm locked
happening.
in.
I will be locking this in as well, fellas. I just wanted to have the video all prepped up for it.
We believe you.
if-
I'm not gonna think about it again though until Saturday when the fights start. I'll tell you that much.
Yes, yeah. Just let it sit, let it simmer. It's also a great way to join the main event. If you all in the fellowship out there listening to this week's episode are playing our picks, good luck. We definitely want to start the year off with a 6 for 6. That would be fantastic. And if you kill it, make sure you let us know on the mailbag at the website or Instagram.
Even if you go the opposite of what we say, which a lot of times would have won you a lot of money.
yeah,
It's a really fun way to watch fights because every fight, starting with that featured prelim or the rare, we had a couple of them last year, 6 event main cards, having that little bit of extra interest on it really makes a card like this a lot of fun.
it does. It does. And I like the fact that I usually have the fights up on the TV, of course, but I always have ESPN up on my phone because they tend to try and show the live numbers as they're
Mhm.
rolling in. And even though they adjust, usually, I don't know,
Significant
15
strikes do anyway.
Yeah, man, we would have had a 6. Was that one of those ones where we would have had a 6 for 6 and we ended up with a 5 for 6 because they undercut it by 2?
I think we ended up with 4 and we would have ended up with 5.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And we do have a positive record of cashing.
Yes,
So
we do. I think every time but once, right?
Yeah, every time but once. 5 out of the 6 that we've done this
Mhm.
for, we have cashed. So definitely get on board with us. We'll be posting the pics on our Instagram. That's at the Pretty Neat Podcast. Get on there and follow. And if you go to our website, theprettyneatpodcast.com, don't forget to scroll down where you can check out some of the badass card sellers that sell sweet UFC memorabilia.
I did hear a rumor. I'm going to take us out on this.
Love it.
Tagir Ulanbekov is considering coming on next week.
I
Really? The
He's
Talir
considering.
Ulanbekov?
Tagir Ulanbekov might be on the show next week. Top 10 ranked, top 11 ranked anyway.
Yeah.
Flyweight. Tagir Ulanbekov might join next week
That'd be pretty dope. And
for the Pretty Neat Podcast.
I'll even I'll throw something else too, and this is a free shout out to Brett Rips on Whatnot, card breakers, card sellers. Was in there watching one of their streams just a few days ago, and guess who popped in to watch the stream?
Not Tagir Ulanbekov.
Nope, Bo fucking Nickel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
came in to say hi and chat with people and buy some of his own cards.
Wow.
Because of course, what else you gonna do? That's what you do.
When you're Bo Nickel, that's what you do.
Yeah. And fellas, it's 2024.
Yep.
It's time for a fresh start.
Okay. All right.
I got a fresh sign off for us.
Ooh.
I love it.
Get more than 4 in 24.
Ooh, I like it.
More than 4, 2024.
Yeah, you know why I love MMA so much? It's pretty neat. That is 100% true, but it's also because it brings us together. You know what? Violence really does bring people